Business. Now, to champion economic growth and development in the country, mediation stands the most efficient method in solving disputes. This way, businesses, business partners and political leaders will create a common goal without affecting their business interests and the country's economy. In the past few months, the country's macroeconomic environment witnessed a downturn due to disputes which all ended up in court rather than exploring alternative dispute resolutions. Take a look.
GDP growth has repeatedly taken a hit from the fallout from cases brought about by recent elections. Repeatedly, these cases often end up in court rather than being settled through horse trading or otherwise, simply put, negotiation. Experts put this down to poor negotiating skills.
Kenya, as I've said before, is a litigious society. We have so many cases in court. Literally, any dispute, parties want to come to court. And that is not the way it should be.
A lot of times, various government institutions and businesses concentrate on litigation as a way of solving disputes. Often this backfires and instead makes matters even more complicated. Mediation is therefore called on as the easiest and fastest means to solve disputes, businesses or otherwise.
The run-up to the election of August the 8th, before His Lordship Justice Maraga and team came in and also threw in the spanners, or they tried to sort out the matter the best way they could. But we are saying, wakihesabu tunahesabu.
Mediation can save the parties about 58% of costs compared to litigation. This is without compromising earnings for lawyers, since those accredited as mediators are paid by the judiciary. The likely quick turnaround time for cases gives them the chance to take on more briefs, boosting the volumes of invoices.
The judiciary has, since 2015, embraced the use of mediation to resolve all those mediatable cases that are pending before it.
A judicial system that incorporates mediation thus gives a significant boost to the country's ease of doing business. Successful negotiations will create a proper ground for solving disputes without any confrontation and help preserve relationships. Julie Owino, KTN News.
Now, in a bid to formalize Kenya's heavily segmented retail sector, a new report by TechnoServe is proposing for proper training of duka or shop owners to unlock the full potential of the country's retail sector. The study shows that just by proper stocking, product placement and record keeping, small shops will be able to increase their revenues by 44%, profits by 55%, while creating over 190 new jobs over a 3-year period. The future of retail is also being hinged on e-commerce to meet the ever-dynamic consumer needs.
Convenience will be a big thing. And even as we talk about convenience, globally, small is the new big. And whilst, if we look at the factors that's driving this, urbanization has been there, continues to be there. Smaller household size means my big trips to the supermarket is not necessary. Working women, eating out, mobile penetration. Whilst this research was centered across the developed markets, where we are seeing in countries like the US, the big Walmart formats closing down. When you think about it, as people move to convenience, we need to also remember that for us, we already have the numbers, the stores are already in the residential areas. How do we formalize this sector that catches this while the trend goes on? Because when Alice asked how many people got their bread from the neighborhood, I'm sure if that neighborhood store was better arranged, all our hands would be up.
Let's take you to the South Coast. Kwale-based mining company Base Titanium says there has been an improvement in rutile and zircon markets and ramp-up of mining operations that has led to the reduction of the net debt by a further 2.7 billion shillings in the last quarter, ended June of 2018. A record 3.5 million tons was mined during the quarter following the successful commissioning of a second hydraulic mining unit and upgrade of the wet concentrator plant as part of the Kwale Phase 2 optimization project. A record rutile production of 24.5 kiloton was recorded in the quarter, while ilmenite production stood at 114.8 kiloton and zircon production at 9.3 kiloton, higher than the previous quarter. And Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, has arranged more than $4.5 billion in debt financing for his Nigerian oil refinery project and aims to start production in early 2020, according to a report by Reuters news agency. Dangote, who built his fortune in cement, is building the world's largest single oil refinery with capacity of 650,000 barrels per day to help to reduce Nigeria's dependence on imported petroleum. Despite being a crude oil exporter, Nigeria imports the bulk of its petroleum because of a lack of domestic refining capacity. Dangote Group has said that Standard Chartered Bank was arranging funds for the project.